Now I do apologise for the video and audio quality. Fortunately my camera is down. But I am going to release a really cool idea, and I have to get this out there before any software vendor decides to patent it. If somebody patents this, it's like patenting a spreadsheet or patenting something as important as a database. It's a new type of application that combines things together. And if somebody is able to patent this technology, it could be very damning for the open source world, where we'll be forever living with disconnected body parts of applications and trying to get them to communicate with one another. I came up with a fantastic idea, and I know the corporations will copy them. Namely, the big major corporations will copy this idea. But I want my idea to be free and open for everybody in the world. So here is my idea, and you're probably going, wow, this doesn't look very revolutionary. But it is revolutionary in the way that it works. You see, the thing is, I need an application that may need to work with a lot of media. And the problem is, applications today are built in suites. And most of the interface is repeated, even in one application. There's so many buttons, there's so much to learn in these interfaces. And I'm sick and tired of having to learn a new interface every time there's a different tool that comes out. And well, I'm sick and tired of clutter. But here's where my idea is new. It's not just a cleaner interface, but it's a more connected interface with data. So here's how this works. We have a properties inspector window. This properties window has everything in it. When you click through the interface, this will automatically adapt and change as you select things on the artboards. Now, the reason why I'm calling this software blank canvas is because that's the special part. Whenever you start with PowerPoint, Word, Excel, or anything else, you start with a blank canvas. So why aren't our interfaces molding the data together? So this is where the interesting connectivity part comes in. You may have noticed that we have a standard, looking graphical editor, and we have different artboards here. We've got web pages, we've got pages here for data, and you can see that the text is flowing around the objects like you'd normally expect. We also have PowerPoint presentations. Very interesting. And we also have even live previews like a video right here. So we have videos, audio, and you also have databases. You're going, wow, that's different. Databases, code projects, and even Excel spreadsheets. How on earth does all this data relate to one another? And why is it so important that I get this idea out? Because this is a whole new way of working with data. So when you click on things, this particular window is always on top. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's not. I've not had time to code this yet. But when you click, you can see it's all connected. You can see these things are changing, and then when you click, it changes and it'll change the window to where you want to be. Now ignore this section because I'm going to get onto a fantastic idea for open software to make money. We all like making a bit of money now and again. So what we have now is we have a canvas, a normal looking canvas or artboard. Now obviously when you select on these elements, you will be able to change them, and now when I click on this, you'll notice it's changed to graphics, and it will show things. So when I click on text, it allows me to do column text. It allows me to do the text flow around images, and all of this can actually be done quite easily now with browser technology. You'll notice I'm using Electron, and it can manipulate SVG, and you can do all the rest of it. Again, I haven't been able to do that yet, but there's nothing special yet. However, consider this next part. You can connect other pieces of data to the artboard. For example, audio. This could be an animation. This could even be an animation where you can have something animating with different types of effects from an audio file. And the application will let you edit the audio file right then and there. So you can go into your audio file, you can click on it, select on it, and you will be editing the audio, and then you can simply go back to your artboard, and the graphics can change like an equalizer, and you can have different effects and different colored effects, all sorts of crazy things with audio. Next up, you can have databases. Now, one of the things with documents, and a lot of problems with documents, is the fact they're not linked to databases, and those that are normally in expensive back-end systems. But what happens when you can finally have your own database, host your own database, or use a third-party database service like Oracle, AWS, or any one of these great cloud providers, and share and collaborate with all of your team members, all of them, around the world in one go. This is how amazing this idea is. You can work with this art, put it in columns, do anything you want, but you can link it from a database. And guess what? It allows you to edit databases right in the application. So you can fetch this information by connecting to a database, and this is all possible. You can look at the schema of the database, meaning the design of the database, the tables in the database, and look at what you can access, and look at the physical data itself, and view the values and field names so that you can fetch the data out of the database and place it live in the canvas. From multiple different databases, multiple different times. A canvas can connect to maybe 5 or 6 different databases and pull some amazing information in for your documents. How cool is that? Live database driven documents. And this is what the power of artboards really are. Next up, you can also have Excel. So with Excel, you can see here we've got a nice chart. So you can have live data. Instead of trying to put the data in and format the data, you can use smart objects. And literally, you can click on this and it will take you to an Excel editor. So you see how important an all-in-one application is, a turnkey solution for multiple things. And this is why I don't want this idea patented. I'll keep reminding you of this throughout the lecture, and that's why I want to share this exciting new idea, where if we put data in these cells, it can go back and update the canvas. Again, it's like revolutionary because we're getting rid of these disconnected parts. I've got a separate application for this and a separate application for that. Now I've got one application that will allow me to connect and allow my data to be interactive and reactive every time someone edits the sheet, database, or video. Fantastic. You've now got video in an artboard. So it's just like a regular graphics editor, but now it lets you pull in assets of all different types and edit them in frame. So you get these nice little preview icons here. This is wonderful. I've only just managed to finish this, and I've only spent actually probably about less than a week dev time in actually building this. And you can see we've got these nice live previews. You can see that's an actual video as well, the preview. It looks gorgeous. And you can edit the video. And what's also wonderful is that you can put the smart art on the video. So for example, you take a look at this Excel spreadsheet, for example, this chart. Well, there's no reason why a video editor shouldn't be able to take that Excel information, take that SVG chart, and put it right over the video or in the video and animate. There's no end to the connectivity between these applications, and the integration is exciting. And if you think about it, once you pull it into a canvas, a WebGL environment, what you can do with that is you can put it on like a wavy pattern. You can apply filters to this. You can change the frame. So when you click on this video here, you can see it goes into the video environment. And when you have a video on your artboard, you can change its color. You can have a little scrub here to scrub through the video. You can play the video right on the canvas as an artboard. It's a way of new multimedia, and it's fantastic. And all this is available when we pull together and contribute to this software. But if somebody patents this technology, folks, imagine what that's going to do to the future of this type of software. We have to make sure that the idea is out and it's not patentable because I've created it. I've created it and I want it open and free for everybody. Next up, there's something even more exciting. Code. What the heck? Code. Actual code. How many people have ended up opening a code editor after going into Photoshop? But the beautiful thing, code is literary work. It's actually deemed literary by the Law Society. But also, code is art. Code produces this amazing type of look and feel. So if you can imagine, you can create a canvas element and embed that element in WebGL. The sky's the limit. You can take this and you can put it anywhere. And you can treat it again as a texture. So imagine that the video is a texture. You can morph it, shape it, put filters on it. Same here. And it's all animatable. I know that these are all stills right now, but I have to get this idea out before anybody else does. But check out the Three.js library, which is what will be powering this application eventually. And this guy is amazing. If you can go visit his site, larsberg.net. Thank you so much for your amazing artwork. And of course, I will contribute your Hexamone. And what he's done there with Three.js and Canon.js is just astonishing. And you can see now that you can, have it animating. Imagine that this here, this interactivity, this live interactivity, pausable and playable on the blank canvas artboard here. Imagine if that was interactive and playable. This is all doable and even editable in the same application. And we've got such a clean interface that we may only have 2 or 3 windows. There'll be another window for the tools and the options of the tools, and then you just have this window as, the properties. And this is a wonderful application. You can even do website integration with this. And also there's one more thing. Let's say you've got audio. Okay, now we know that audio is a collaborative, a very extensive project. If you want to make a serious track, your guys like, Justin Bieber and everything else, they have huge studios and they have lots of people developing the music as they go. And as you see it come together, what happens when you make it like the Google Docs connectivity? I'm sure that we can implement that idea because it's all database driven. And you can see your friend edit this live. You can see your producer edit this live with you. And you can put it on the album track. And let's just say you can take this audio, and again, you can embed it in video, for example. So you can embed it here, and it could be like an equalizer, and you can have like a funky animated video. And again, this can all be done because everything is connected and closely coupled. When it comes to data types being closely coupled, that's good. And when it comes to your data being decoupled, that's also good as well. But again, that's one thing for the programmers. Then also you can have PowerPoint. I mean, for example, I haven't put the preview icons in here, but what we have is the artboards that we had prior. So all these artboards here, if you can imagine, you've got my artboard here, website pages, writer art. Again, just treat it like a Word document. You can also have a PowerPoint where they're all there. You can see all your artboards, writer art, you've got all of these. And you can click and drag, and you can drag it onto the slides thread. So you can organize your slides, and you can have interactive canvases here. You can have your code projects here. You can have Excel spreadsheets. So you can see that here. If we go down, you can literally have a database with viewable data inside of a PowerPoint. And this is all part of this of the connectivity. Even Excel spreadsheets. This idea is a once in a lifetime kind of thing. And that's why I think it's so important to let the open community have their chance at development. Now also, if you think about it, each one of these artboards here, each one of these, which is each one of these, These can have animations on them. You can have text moving, you can have things scaling, you can have all sorts of animations, and it can be controlled from this window. And the beauty of doing this is that now, when you have one of these slides, that will show the artboard. There's your artboard in the slide, in the presentation, and it can go to full screen and do your PowerPoint presentation, but it will list out the animations, let you play the animations live there on the preview, and reorganize the animations. So this is where you organize the animations on your slide. So when you click the next button, it does the next little animation until you get to the very end, and then it goes on to the next slide, next slide, next slide. And it will just look absolutely gorgeous on this interface. I mean, look how clean this interface is now. And I know you're going to say there's loads of options, but just look inside of Photoshop and Illustrator and see how many elements are repeated in the menus and repeated all over the interface. And all the interfaces are different and scattered, and they operate differently. I'm tired of learning applications over and over again. I need my time back, and I also don't want to be locked in to their software. I want an open, collaborative interface. So this piece of software lets you do the lot. You can edit web pages, Word documents, edit databases, connect databases, and you can even have database information, Excel information right there on the artboard. And also you can have database, and you can also have Excel, and you can also have the canvas, that animating canvas you saw, in a video artboard as well. This is also an artboard, but the environment needs to change a little bit. The user interface needs to change a little bit because you need that timeline in there to really organize things and get your nice little live previews. But in here, this is where you'll be editing, you'll be clicking on things, you'll be clicking on your video right there. Your options will change to let you rotate, move things, and also apply effects. But I can bring in Excel information. I can bring in animated graphs into my video. I can do a whole host of things that are just endless. And this is why I'm going to stress to you now that I don't like patents. And the reason is because everybody's fighting to potentially do this idea first. And they don't deserve to do this idea first. They've always copied the open community, but the open community hasn't been good enough at getting this information out first. So this is where we come in. We are going to distribute this software under GPL v2, and we are going to let people open the source code, edit it, and work with it. And I need a community, and we can have a community of developers for the artboard project, for the graphics editor, a community of developers for the writer, a community of developers for the PowerPoint presentation, for the video editor. All of these things, you can have separate groups of developers. They're all working on the same application, but in different parts of the application, all connected and all working rather well. How amazing is that? Now, one final idea is we need to make money. I'm in this business to share ideas and collaborate, and even with the big corporations, they need to make money as well. But what I don't agree with is them stopping me from doing this idea. This idea is too good to be patented. I know they want to patent it, and I'm not going to let them because I've come up with this first. I've come up with this first, and they know it. Now, one amazing and incredible thing here is that you've got a video. Now, one also incredible thing you have here is making money. We need to make money. So this little section here, what you'll be able to do is be able to go in one of these menus and say enable feature mode. And what that will do is it will show you features that haven't been done. So for example, rotate on the x-axis. So let's say we want a 3D canvas and we want to be able to take any piece of text, any Excel spreadsheet, anything, and rotate it on the x-axis. Well, if we want to do that, we need money and time, because I have a full-time job. Most developers have full-time jobs. And we need to be able to distribute wealth. Now, the problem is with proprietary software, you've got a lot of developers doing a lot of the hard work, and the people that sit at the top, the CEOs, don't know the first thing about development, and they're making all the money off us developers. I'd like to share the money and share the wealth rather than aggregate the wealth to the few. That's why this software will not be proprietary, and it will not be patented as far as I'm aware, because I'm the very first person to release this idea. And if you don't know, then ask yourself, where have you seen this software before? It hasn't been done. It hasn't been done, and that's why we must get this as free and open software for everybody. Not to do anything other than aggregate wealth. So if you're a developer and you decide there's a big donate bucket, so people start donating for this feature, let's say there's about 1,000, 200,000. If millions of people use this app, this could end up being just a simple feature like this. This could end up being, I don't know, £100,000. It's really not that hard to believe when you consider companies get billions of pounds turnover. But imagine an open piece of software and people are donating to this. There's a bounty now, and this is where the money side comes into it. And there we go. So we've changed it over to what's called the bounty board. So we have these features. Now what's great about it is users are actually paying for what they want. So if you think about it, it's open software, but somebody's going to have to develop this. And if they want people to develop these features, you've got to donate. You've got to donate, give us money, and we will develop this. And everybody makes wealth. This is about any developer coming in, looking at the bounty board. They can look at how much the bounty is. So at the moment it's at £25,000 for the rotate X axis, and somebody comes along and goes, yeah, I actually like that. So this here is a window. When you click that donate, it will take you to a bounty board. It will give you a full job description. You know, it can have images in there, but ultimately we're giving them a presentable view here. You can have images in here to show what it will do, but you're creating a visual for them to see it and imagine it in the user interface, and they can look at those features and say, do you know what, I like the idea of that feature. Or somebody could mock up a user interface. They may not have the programming skills, but mock up the user interface, put a bounty on it, and people donate into that bounty bucket, and then somebody can take the job on. And, you know, we pay them out the cash that they deserve for developing such a feature. And we'll get into the legalities and the technicalities, but this is a whole new way of software development, and it means that everybody makes money. I can make money, you can make money, and we're all sharing as part of an open collaborative software. I'm sick and tired of being locked into proprietary software, and it's not the fact that it is proprietary software, it's the fact that the patent industry has gone absolutely berserk. And if you don't believe me, Apple's slidey off power button, Apple sued Samsung for millions just for a slidey off power button. It's that ridiculous. These things are supposed to be innovative. They're not innovative. And this is why this idea is actually patentable and can be taken away from me. The person who's actually thought of the idea can be muscled out of his own idea because of these software patents. And it's because I want to share wealth. They want to aggregate wealth for themselves, and they don't want to share their wealth. Now, big companies will never get rid of, and we don't want to. Netflix and all these big companies and big data companies and cloud companies, they're always going to be there. But in terms of our desktops and our software that we run locally, we want them back. Don't let this be patentable. Please share this idea. It's an incredible idea. It's a whole new way of technology. And remember, you saw it here first.